In this Disciple Dojo Study Bible review, we're going to be looking at the Girls Life Application Study Bible by Tyndale. Before we do that, if you don't know about this channel, you're new here, click around, look at our different playlists. We've reviewed over 50 study Bibles. We have interviews with biblical scholars. We have teaching videos on Bible backgrounds. There's a lot going on here at Disciple Dojo. The only way any of it happens is because of you. By clicking subscribe, by letting YouTube know that you like these videos, clicking the like button, sharing them with people, leaving comments, all of that stuff helps grow this channel. All right, let's talk about the Girls Life Application Study Bible. Now, this Bible was sent to me by a viewer. People ask me on here, they say, hey, have you reviewed this Bible or that Bible, or would you review this Bible? And my general rule of thumb is, if you'd like a Bible reviewed, send it to me. I'll take a look at it, and if I think it's worth making a video about, I'm happy to do so. So a viewer took me up on that. This is a used copy. I don't know if they bought it or if this was their copy, but it was given to somebody about 10 years ago on the occasion of their first communion. This edition, it's hardback. It was published by Tyndale in 2005. This is in the New Living Translation. Obviously, it's a hardback, and it is double columned. It's 1,505 pages. There are no color maps in the back, though there are literally 20 blank pages. Those of you that are in the publishing industry, let me know in the comments, why do Bible publishers sometimes put so many blank pages in the back? I don't think they're for taking notes, because this is like a little kid's Bible. But if you are a book nerd and you know the answer to this question, I'd be interested to hear it. Throughout, the Bible is both pink and blue. The text is in blue, and all of the illustrations are either in pink or in blue. Now, there are no study notes. There's no commentary. There are no notes that go along with what you're reading in the text. So what do you have in the Girls Life Application Study Bible? Well, after the table of contents, you've got a list of the books of the Bible in their canonical order and in their alphabetical order. Then you have 2 pages on how to use the Girls Life Application Study Bible. And these tell you all of the little features that are found throughout this Bible. So here's what they are. Some of the features are called What Now? And these are like little ethical case studies, you could call them. So I'll give you an example of one. This is Deuteronomy 32. It says, what now? Science fair. The 7th graders were assigned a big science project that counted for over half of their grade. Caitlin mentioned her project idea to Joyce. I saw a couple of library books that will help me in my research, she said. Later, when Caitlin went to the library, she discovered that the books were already checked out. Someone else had chosen the same topic. The next day, Caitlin noticed one of the checked out books on Joyce's desk. Joyce has stolen her idea. Caitlin was furious. She felt like hiding the books. What do you think Caitlin should do? Read Deuteronomy 32, verses 34 and 35. Now, when you read Deuteronomy 32, verses 34 and 35, it says, the Lord says, am I not storing up these things, sealing them away in my treasury? I will take revenge. I will pay them back. In due time, their feet will slip, their day of disaster will arrive, and their destiny will overtake them. So God's going to take care of old Joyce the thief for stealing Caitlin's idea at the science fair. Next, you have this category called I Survived. And these are little stories, little anecdotes written mostly by teenagers, older kids, letting the younger readers, who this is targeted for, know what they went through and what they can expect. So one of them is on page 565, and it's by Jade, a 16-year-old. And it tells a story about how she was all about softball and practiced every day. Her whole identity was Jade, the softball player. But then one day she got an injury, and because of that, she was not going to be able to play softball anymore. And so she was devastated. She thought everything that she wanted was taken away from her. But because of that injury, she was able to do some stuff with her church and make some new friends and experience stuff that she just never even knew was possible. So she ends by saying, what I thought was the worst tragedy of my life ended up being the biggest blessing. God puts us in certain situations for a reason. We just need to take advantage of those, quote, opportunities. And then she says, read Esther chapter 4 to see how the young queen responded to the, quote, opportunity that God placed before her. Then they have these at a glance features. These are little short biographical sketches of women and girls in the Bible and their stories. There are some charts throughout, like this one on page 619, Finding Christ in the Psalms, Or this one on the days of creation. I'm going to nitpick here. When you make a chart on the days of creation and don't make the days correspond, man, that's a blown opportunity. The whole beauty of Genesis 1 and how it lays the days out, where days 1 through 3 match days 4 through 6, and then day 7 underlines it all. It's incredible. If you don't know what I'm talking about, check out the video here at Disciple Dojo where our own esteemed professor, Iron Man, on the shelf behind me, gives a walkthrough of Genesis chapter 1. I hope if they've updated this Girls Life Application Study Bible, they fix this chart, because this is a real missed opportunity. Now, while they don't have color maps in the back, they do have a number of these double-page, hand-drawn maps of different biblical locations or events. This is Abraham's journey from Ur to Canaan. And then on page 1238, 1239, it's a map of Jerusalem and kind of tracing the last days of Jesus' earthly ministry. These are beautifully done, very high quality. And then these little pink star shapes throughout the text are amazing facts. So this one at Numbers 21 says, God told the Israelites to form a bronze snake and put it on a pole. Why? It made a great snake bite kit. Read Numbers 21, 4 through 9. I don't know how good of herpetology advice that is for young readers, especially in areas prone to snake bites. So in that situation, the bronze serpent did cure the Israelites who were bitten by the snakes. But that would need to be unpacked a little bit with some parental or pastoral wisdom in interpreting that story. Another feature are these light pink boxes called Is It Okay? And these have to do with questions of theology and ethics. So this one on page 1259 with Acts chapter 10 says, Is it okay to avoid people who are different than me? Back in Peter's day, Jewish people were pretty exclusive. They didn't hang out with anyone except other Jews, and they were even picky about which of their own people they liked. That's super cringy. But then God taught Peter a lesson that he wants us to learn too. We should never think of anyone as impure, see Acts chapter 10:28. Sometimes we feel uncomfortable around people who are different from us. Maybe they dress differently, talk funny, and look a little weird to us. They probably think we're weird too. But God wants us to be friendly and accept them just as they are. When you befriend someone of a different background or race, you discover that you have more in common than you thought. It's a good lesson. It would have just been better without the not-so-subtle anti-first century Jewish stereotypes. You also have these pink little boxes called I'm Not the Only One, and these are embarrassing stories that other kids, older kids tell to kind of help kids not feel so bad about things. On page 585, this one says, When I was 12, my mom's friend, Miss Larson, asked me to babysit. I was eager to try, even though I had no idea how to entertain 3 kids under the age of 7. At the end of the evening, Miss Larson came home to spilled milk, a broken plate, soup boiling over, and her children fighting. It was a chaotic moment I'd like to forget. Lighten up. It's in the middle of Job. There are also in pink on various pages memory verses. And then right in the middle of the Bible, there are these kind of thick, glossy, like magazine cover pages that they call the History Remix. And so they just give illustrations or images of life in Bible times. Here's one on ancient Israelite beauty, jewelry, clothing, health and beauty products, footwear. You girls love your shoes. I'm just kidding. Just cut that. Illustrations on marriage and meal preparation in the home. Some drawings of the queens. Pretty sure Abigail was not blonde. Places in the Bible, household implements, animals, the worship and the Jewish holidays and festivals, and then a page that talks about what life was like for women in biblical times. Now, there's no index or concordance at the back of the Bible, but at the beginning, there's roughly the equivalent. It's called Quick Answers, and it has different topics and passages in the Bible that deal with those topics. Now, there are very short book introductions at the beginning of each book. They just have a who, where, when, why, a key verse in the book, and a very, very short summary of the book. Underneath that, there's a timeline where the book falls in history. Now, after Revelation, there's a reading plan that takes you through the greatest stories in the Bible. Then there's a little evangelism section called God's Gift to You that walks you through the plan of salvation. And then there's an essay called How to Read the Bible. It's just over a page long. Then there's an index to all of the features, and then the where to find it index of all of the stories, famous stories in the Bible that you may have heard of, but don't exactly know where to find it. And that's it. Then the 20 blank pages at the back. So if you've watched this channel or if you've seen my other study Bible reviews, you know that my top recommended study Bible, the one I've recommended to more people overall than any other study Bible, is the Life Application Study Bible. I think it's fantastic. In fact, for each of my nephews and my niece, when they were old enough, I've given each of them a Life Application Study Bible. My parents, when I was a teenager, gave me the first edition of the Life Application Study Bible, and I used it all through college and into seminary. So I'm a big fan of the Life Application Bible in whatever translation you prefer. So that's why I'm kind of disappointed that this has the name Life Application Study Bible, but really none of the content. If you're familiar with Life Application Study Bible and you see this, you might think, oh, it's just a kid's version of that. It's really not. This is a girl's devotional Bible that they've included some study material. It does have, the charts, the maps, those are very well done. The illustrations about life in Bible times, other than not really being ethnically accurate, they're not terrible. The reading plan in the back, the essay on how to read the Bible, there's good stuff in it. But honestly, I don't know, this one just seems kind of dated. It seems a little middle class, white America. There's nothing in it that really would make me want to give this to, say, my niece. If you've seen the video where my niece and I actually look at some children's study Bibles, you can see some things that I think make for good children's Bibles. I don't know if this has enough of those things for me to recommend it. And some of the stuff that it does have, like we looked at, is at best kind of cheesy and at worst instills some false understandings of biblical times. I do like the New Living Translation. I think if you're going to give a younger reader a translation, I would give them the New Living Translation over like an NIV or ESV or any of those that are really meant for a high school and up reading level. New Living's a great translation for kids. And like I said, if there is a newer edition of this out, I am not familiar with it. I'm only speaking about this edition. But those are my thoughts. This is not one that I would recommend. I think there are better children's Bibles out there. If you're looking for one specifically for girls, however, this isn't terrible. I would just say read through it. Look at some of the essays, look at some of the topics, some of the things they talk about, and compare it to some of the other Bibles for girls that are out there. But I am also not the target demographic for this. Obviously, as a soon-to-be 45-year-old man, I cannot speak authoritatively to what 7 to 12-year-old girls will gravitate towards. So keep that in mind as you weigh this review. Those are my thoughts. If you've used this Bible, maybe you love it. Maybe you think it's great. I'd love to hear why. If I missed something important in this review or you have a different opinion, feel free to share those in the comments as well. These Bible reviews are entirely subjective. Like I said, this was sent to me by a viewer and they just asked that I share my honest opinion, and that's what I'm doing. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you back here next time at Disciple Dojo.